Hey there folks, and welcome into the Truck King YouTube channel. This is the Ford Bronco Raptor, one of the most ridiculous and capable off-roaders you can buy, and I want to put it to the test. So in this video, we're going to find the mud, we're going to find the slippery rocks, and we're going to go flying high speed across some fields like this. So make sure you stay tuned. Before we head back out to the trails, let's do a walk around and look at all the features here, starting with the power plant. So that is a 3-liter, 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's making 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque sent through a 10-speed automatic transmission. And the Raptor is the only Bronco package where you can get this engine, so it is unique to Raptor. So the vehicle we're looking at right here is finished in marsh gray, and it has the black appearance package. So you're getting this black hood decal up here, blacked out badges, blacked out wheels, the black roof up top. I do think it looks pretty good. I don't love this color, marsh gray. I feel like if you're buying a Bronco Raptor, you should get an exciting color like that beautiful orange that they have, but that's just me. And already I'm curious, what do you think about the styling here on the Bronco Raptor? Drop in the comments and let me know. For off-road upgrades, you're first going to notice the tires. That is a set of 37-inch BF Goodrich KO2s, and those are proper beadlock capable wheels down there, which is nice to see. You're also going to notice how much wider this Bronco is than a standard Bronco because of these fender flares. They're absolutely massive, and they add quite a few inches to this thing because the track on the Bronco Raptor is quite a bit wider to provide that stability, especially for high-speed off-roading. Now, as we roll back, another thing I noticed, we do have running boards here, and what's kind of cool is the running board is sort of bolted right on to the rock rail. So this gives you a little bit of a step, and then if you don't want it, you could just remove that, but keep your rock rail on there for off-road performance. I like that. I also like that this is finished in that bed liner type material, so it should be pretty durable. And now let's look at towing and payload. So you have a standard 2-inch hitch receiver down here. One thing I like to point out with this spare tire, not every single design of hitch is gonna fit in here, especially if you have another spare tire on the tongue of your trailer that can hit. So I just recommend if you have a trailer already and you wanna make sure it's gonna work here, yeah, you gotta bring it out here, hook it up, and make sure it is. Another thing that can help is a drop hitch if you use a little bit of a drop, but again, that's gonna depend on what kind of trailer you have. But it's just a word of caution, this spare can get in the way of some trailers. Now, towing capacity here is 4,500 pounds, which is pretty decent. And payload, according to the door jamb sticker, 992 pounds, which is actually pretty decent for a vehicle with, 37-inch tires and a vehicle that is so singularly focused on going fast off-road. All right, let's take a look at the second row and the storage here in the Bronco Raptor. So first of all, I like to point out baby seat situation. You're getting lower latch on the passenger side and over here on the driver's side, and then top tethers, 3 of them right along this bench. So now I'll climb in. So this is listed as 36.3 inches of second row legroom, and it's actually plenty. This is my driving position, so it's not too far back, or too far forward, I guess I should say. I feel like my knees have lots of room. They're maybe a little bit taller than I'd like, but it's really not all that bad. And then for headroom, yeah, I have plenty up here as well with this hardtop roof, so I appreciate that. Now, if I do move too far to the left or too far back, I will bang into these roll bars up here, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, still plenty of headroom. For features back here, I do get my own HVAC vents down below. We get a bit of power, which is nice, 2 USB-Cs and a 3-prong plug. My window controls are over here in the middle. And then in front of me, you get these little baskets here, but then you also get this MOLLE panel, and you can use this to attach a number of different bags and other things to carry your stuff. So I appreciate that as well. Now let's check out the cargo in the back. So Bronco still uses the big old swing gate, which is quite heavy when you get this 37-inch tire on here. Flip up your glass, and that reveals just over 33 cubic feet of storage space, which is actually quite a lot. And I like that they sort of prioritize storage space here over that rear seat space, because a lot of people in Broncos, they're going on adventures and they're gonna need space for their stuff. So they could have moved that seat back, but they didn't, and I like that. For features, I do have 12-volt power over here. You're gonna notice these lights, which are nice on a dark day like it is today. And then also on this side over here, you're getting a little bit of storage. Not a big storage bin there, but still nice to have some kind of storage. Now let's take a look underneath this Bronco floor mat here too, and you can see a little bit more storage and all the tools you're gonna need to swap out a tire. So I appreciate that as well. Now let's close it up, put it up on the rack, and take a look underneath. Let's take a look underneath the Bronco Raptor right now. So first of all, the tow hooks, nice and exposed up here. They kind of give you two options with these tow hooks too. You could put something into this main hole, or you could attach a shackle to that bolt hole right there and have the shackle hanging off. So I do like those. Now next up, the bumper up here, I'll show you with my magnet. It is steel, and I stick it over here because if I try to stick it here, I can feel like it just wants to stick, but it'll fall off because there's this plastic cover on there. And I actually like this idea. Give me the steel bumper so I get that strength, but give me a sacrificial cover, because a lot of the times the damage is just cosmetic. It's just scrapes. So if that thing gets scraped up, peel the plastic off, put a new one on, it's gonna look good as new. So I definitely like that too. Now moving back, I like to see this, almost no gap between front bumper and front skid plate. And then I take my magnet to this front skid plate, and it does not stick. So assumably this is aluminum. Now it's nicely finished, but yes, that's gonna be aluminum. As we roll back, we get to the next skid plate. Also not sticking, so also aluminum. And this is very interesting that Ford went with their two front skid plates as aluminum, because as we move further back, we get back into the steel. And from here, rearwards, those are all steel skid plates. Now we'll move back there in a sec. First, I want to talk about the suspension here. So these are Fox live valve shocks. You can see right here, got the wire on it that's running up to the ECU. That is controlling your compression on the fly. So that is actually allowing these shocks to change their damping force and make sure they're delivering, you know, whatever you want. Maybe a firm ride for on-road and then a nice plush soft ride for off-road. Whatever you need, those shocks will do it. And Ford actually does list suspension travel for the Bronco Raptor. It is 13 inches in the front and 14 inches in the rear. And that is about 3 or 4 inches better than the next Bronco in the lineup. So those are really significant travel numbers. And it's actually not that often that we even see brands list suspension travel numbers. And of course, Ford did it here because those numbers are just so dang good. Now, the other thing I'll point out, you've probably already seen, independent front suspension. Now that is a big deal because the Bronco primarily competes with the Jeep Wrangler, and this is one thing that the Wrangler has not done. The Wrangler has kept its 2 solid axles. When Ford brought out the Bronco, they went for IFS, and the whole argument here is independent front generally means a better on-road ride, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go drive it. But now let's move back. So big steel skid plate here. This is protecting the oil pan, and the disconnectable sway bar mechanism is right up in there. We get back to the next one. That's also steel. That's your transfer case skid plate right there. Over here on this side, also steel. And this is a massive steel skid plate for the fuel tank. So I like to see that it's also full length. Quite often we see fuel tank skid plates that don't cover the entire tank. That makes no sense to me. So nice steel skid plates there. Another thing I noticed over here looking at the rock rails, these are attached up here to the body panels, to the rocker panels. I'd never love to see that. A good rock rail should be attached right onto the frame. Now, again, I know Ford does lots of testing, and there's a good chance that these will take the weight of the vehicle, but for how long and under what circumstances? At some point, I can see coming down hard on these and that messing up the lower part of your rocker panel down here. So, would have liked to see those attached straight to the frame. As we get to the back, you will notice a solid rear axle. They've kept the solid rear. And in the Bronco Raptor, this is a Dana 50, where all the other Broncos get Dana 44. So you're getting a beefier rear axle here too. Once again, you can see those massive Fox live valve shocks. They also have piggyback reservoirs here, I should point out. That's just giving you more fluid in the shock to resist shock fade over time. And of course, underneath, we don't have a spare tire because it's back there hanging off the door. All right, folks, time to head off-road now. We're going to start with our offset mounds. This is all about 4x4 and articulation testing. And if I'm honest, I think the Bronco Raptor is going to just walk straight through here. I'm actually so confident that I'm going to run it through in normal mode, two-wheel drive at first. Let's just see if it can do it in two-wheel drive, because I kind of think it can. So let's find out. And so what's going to happen here is as I get over these mounds, it's going to make one of those rear wheels light, so then it's going to be up to the Bronco to get the power to the other wheel, but it also flexes so well, I'm not sure how light that wheel is going to get. So let's see. Oh, it's still just creeping. I'm not sure I've lifted a rear wheel yet. Oh, maybe here. Okay, now it's spinning. Struggling. Okay. It struggled, that's fine. Two-wheel drive, we have a couple tricks. The first trick I would like to do is disconnect the sway bar, but you can't do that in two-wheel drive. You have to be in four-wheel. However, one thing you can do, and I love this from Ford, I can lock my rear differential in two-wheel drive. You can't do that in a lot of vehicles. So now I've locked up my rear, still in two-wheel drive normal mode. And look at that, the locker does its job. And this is one of those things where I understand there's not a ton of scenarios where you're gonna wanna lock up in two-wheel drive, but it could happen, so why not give me that option? And I love that from the Bronco, that it does allow me to do that. So that was easy peasy. Now I do wanna show you a little bit more on the articulation and the disconnectable sway bar, so let's do a little demonstration here. Now let me demonstrate how this sway bar disconnect works in a bit more of a controlled environment. So we're going to use our truck ramp here essentially as an RTI ramp. An RTI ramp measures flex, it measures articulation. Brands use it, shops use it. And one issue with an RTI ramp though is they announce the score. Unless you're comparing them straight up, it doesn't really mean much. So I'm going to try to use my ramp to give you a better visual on what kind of a difference the sway bar disconnect actually makes. So what we're going to do is drive up this ramp until one of my rear tires, it should be the rear driver, just comes off the ground. Essentially, you should be able to take a piece of paper and slide it just under that tire so it's just losing contact with the ground. At that point, we'll stop, we'll measure how far up we went, and then we'll disconnect the sway bar and keep going and see how much further it goes. So yeah, let's give it a shot now. I got this thing in 4 low, and the stabilizer bar, the sway bar, is currently locked. So I should be able to feel it when that tire starts to lift. I need my mirror to be adjusted though, so I can look down at it. Okay, good adjustment on the mirrors too. I can really see down at that. Okay, coming up a little further. Oh, and right there I saw a little wheel spin. Yeah, right about there. So my rear wheel just spun, and let me also say that already it feels wild how much articulation this thing has. So I'm gonna hop out now. And yes, back here at my rear driver's side tire, I'm essentially just off the ground. This thing has basically no weight on it. So what I'm gonna do now is take my little marker, come under this side and mark right in the center of this wheel. I'm gonna use that little notch right there. So it's right about there. We'll make our little mark. And now we'll disconnect the sway bar and see how much further up the ramp we can get. And one of the party tricks of the Bronco, which I really appreciate, is this sway bar can disconnect under load. If this was a lot of other vehicles, I'd have to back off the ramp, disconnect, and come back up. But with the Bronco, I can disconnect it as it is sitting here. And that's important for off-roading because a lot of times you get into a articulation event, you get into a big obstacle, and you go, oh darn it, I forgot to unlock. But with the Bronco, that's okay, you can still do it. So watch out for that. Let me climb back in. Okay, and disconnecting sway bar now. Oh, and there it was. Let me just see, yeah, right about there. And this is definitely one of the strong points of this Bronco Raptor is just how much it can flex. So we take our marker, we make our next mark right about there. And then I can see it here, might as well just measure it now. That is roughly 10 inches, more like 9 3/4 inches. Between 9 3/4 and 10 inches. But that gives you an idea for how much farther you can climb while keeping the tires on the ground with this Bronco Raptor. And you know what, from the front, it might not look too crazy. Come to the back, take a look. This is what it's all about right here. Look at this amount of flex that you get in here, and this tire still is making contact with the ground. This is insane, the amount that this vehicle is leaning, and maybe it doesn't look so crazy on camera, but trust me, in that driver's seat, I can't believe that you can be sitting on such a severe angle and still have contact with the ground. So yes, very impressive articulation here with the Bronco Raptor. On to the next obstacle. It's our little pit filled with some rocks. I actually intend to make this thing bigger, but for now, this is what we got. It's a little bit soft too, I should say. It's finally been raining here in Southern Ontario, so it's a little bit wet and muddy, which is cool, but we're still gonna do this in two-wheel drive. I'm just gonna keep going two-wheel drive until something really stops the Bronco. The other thing giving me the utmost confidence are the numbers here. This thing has over 13 inches of ground clearance. The approach angle is a ridiculous 47 degrees. Even the breakover and departure angle is over 40 degrees. So when you get numbers like that, yeah, it gives you confidence. So we're still normal mode, two-wheel drive. Let's see what this thing can do, and let's see if we can find somewhere where it'll actually struggle. Now I am using my front camera, always massively helpful off-road. As I creep down in here, no problems there. Okay, starting to climb the rocks now. Oh, hello. Okay, Bronco. I mentioned it's a little bit wet. Once again, though, this is just two-wheel drive. So, folks, let me give in here, and let's go ahead and put it into 4 high, and that should basically solve all of our troubles. So now we're in 4 high, still normal mode. Let's see if we can just creep right out. Yes, Bronco Raptor. Yes. No clearance issues, no power issues, the tiniest grip issue, but that was only in two-wheel. Once it was in four-wheel, this thing walked through there. So far feeling unstoppable. Let's go find some more mud and see if we can't stop this thing. All right, everybody, well, let's see if the mud can slow this thing down. So we've come up the hydro line now. There's a little bit more water than there was here the last month, really. But what there is a lot of thick mud because it has been raining, so the ground is pretty wet. So we'll see how it does. Now I'm going to switch over into off-road mode now. So 4-high off-road mode. The things I noticed with off-road mode is right away you get a full screen view down here of that front camera. I appreciate that. And the rear locker comes on automatically in off-road mode as well. And that should make this thing absolutely capable of doing this trench. But let's find out. And no clearance issues to speak of at all. Into the mud. Let's keep our speed up a little bit. Oh, it's digging a bit. It slipped a little bit. Whoa, and there's one more big rock in there that we keep digging out year after year. Now up these rocks. Oh, getting a little squirrely on these rocks because they're slippery today. Oh man, but still pretty easy. Actually, the thing I find is there's so much dang power here. It's just easy to, over throttle and kind of get going a little too quick. That's what felt like happened to me on those rocks there. I got out, I thought I'd put my foot into it just a little bit, and that actually got my front end a little bit sideways on me. So when you have a vehicle that has this much power, you do have to be careful about using it. But everything else felt great coming through there. Again, the tires started to dig into that mud for just a moment, but really nothing to worry about. And now we are turned around. We're going to come back down this hill, and we will put Ford's off-road technology to the test. So we're going to turn on trail, one pedal drive, and trail control. And I'm going to use trail control. So you use the set buttons here on the steering wheel to pick your speed. I'm going to set trail control at 3 kilometers an hour, and my foot is off the brake. So now it is all Bronco. The Bronco is handling the throttle and the brakes for me. Nice and quiet, which is good. Nice and smooth. As you can hear, my parking sensors are still on. That's one thing I never will understand is why in off-road mode it doesn't shut those off. But okay, now I've slowed it down to 2 kilometers an hour. This is all Bronco. And I'm going to let it drive through the mud for me as well. Yes, parking sensors, I know. Leave me alone. Quickly let me stop. There is a physical button to shut them off, so it's one press. But I stand by what I said, Ford. Those things should not come on in off-road mode. Now I'm going to speed up to 8 kilometers an hour, and let's see how the Bronco Raptor drives itself through the mud. All I got to worry about is my hands on the wheel. Power. Power. I sped up to 12. I felt like it was too slow. Yes. Nice. All right, everybody, and now left hook time. And honestly, so far, this Bronco Raptor is just eating all these trails for lunch. I wish we had a little more standing water, but the mud has been pretty dang deep, actually. And no issues, not even a single skid plate touch to report. And it's not often I can say that. Usually at least something drags its belly. But no, this is the kind of vehicle where I'm going off-road, I'm driving over these big rocks and ruts, and I can just sit here and sip my coffee. Because the Bronco Raptor makes it so dang easy. Now, rest assured, we're going to go do some high-speed off-roading soon because that's what this thing is all about. But we got to do the left hook and just see how it feels. So let's dive into the mud over here and see if anything will slow it down or if I can just keep on having a nice, relaxing off-road experience. All right, let's Raptor forward, and I've got this thing in 4 low now. I want to feel that low-range gearing. Oh, man, and there's like no water out here at all. Well, let's see how it does. The one thing we do have these days are these big loose rocks on this hill, and every time we run it, we break some more loose. And usually right now, I would cheat driver's side to kind of avoid the rocks, but not in the Bronco Raptor. We're going right over them. So I'm gonna use that front camera, again in 4 low here. And everything's pretty wet, so these rocks are kind of slick. Oh yeah, there's my rear end slipping. Oh, hello Bronco Raptor, okay. So let me now switch over to rock crawl mode. So that just disconnected my sway bar and it locked my rear. Didn't lock my front yet though, so I still have one more locker if I want it. Let's see though if that's enough. With the sway bar disconnected and the rear locked. Okay, not quite. I need to carry some momentum through these though because these rocks are so slick. So I'm going to back up a few feet, back into drive, and we're going to hit it just a little bit here. Let's see how we can do. Okay, power, power, power. Whoa! Wow, okay, slippery rocks. This is the first thing that's really given the Bronco some trouble. And sadly, you can also see I got that tree off my front passenger side that is quite close. Oh my gosh. I almost slipped into it. Let's do this very carefully. Very carefully. Okay, let's get away from the trees. Thank you very much. Alrighty, well, my initial approach of let's just go right over the rocks maybe isn't going to work today. They're so slick. Let me take a quick peek here. So yeah, I'll take a bit of a different line on it. This time I'm going to sort of come up driver and then work my way over passenger side. And once again, I got to come at it with a bit of momentum. So let's go a little further and now. Start into the power, power, power. Nice. So yeah, I realized on my passenger side I ended up avoiding most of those rocks. But just in terms of, hey, if I got to get up that hill, that's what I had to do. Because yeah, the slickness today just wasn't going to allow me to climb those rocks. And that is one thing where, you know, not all off-road days are created equal. It's one thing to say it's a great rock crawler. Yeah, well, were the rocks dry or were they wet? Because dry rocks have excellent grip. Wet rocks have no grip at all. So even though you can call that a Bronco Raptor fail if you want, the way I look at it is, yeah, barely any vehicle would have made it up those slick rocks because they had zero grip today. Thankfully, the Raptor, though, didn't have any clearance issues. That's the real nice thing. And in a lot of vehicles, I would have been a lot more nervous about sort of taking a run at it, getting that speed. Here, I wasn't nervous at all, and I still haven't kissed a single skid plate, which is, yeah, really impressive. So great clearance, but we did find something that could slow the Bronco Raptor down. Super wet, slick, loose rocks. Okay, coming down the hill on the other side of the left hook now, and I do want to show you guys this. I'm in 4 low. I've got it locked in first gear. I got these nice paddle shifters so I can do that. So what you're seeing right now is no trail control, no one pedal drive. This is old-fashioned gearing. The Bronco is moving this slowly because of the gear reduction from the low-range T-case and first gear, and it feels really good. And actually, this feels more controlled than trail control did, because trail control is still using the actual brakes. It's not relying on engine braking quite as much. So I kind of prefer this. It's nice to have both options though, sort of the old school option and then having that new technology option as well. Oh, hold on a second there, YouTube. I just realized as I was driving away from doing this rocky hill that I forgot to engage my front locker. So I wasn't giving the Bronco all of its tools necessary to maybe get me through there. And the front locker could make a difference here. So right now I am 4 low, off-road or rock crawl mode, front locker locked, rear locker locked, stabilizer bar disconnected. I am now in the fully locked mode here in a Bronco Raptor. Let's see if that front locker is the difference maker for creeping me up these rocks, because I mean, it's not going to change how much grip there is on the rocks, but it might change how the front end grabs and pulls me up. So there's my slippage again. Oh, but it is feeling a bit better. It is feeling like it might do it. There's that big rock though. Okay, so same issue as before. I need a little momentum. If I don't come at it with a bit of speed, there's almost no chance I'm going to make it right up that rock spine. So let me try that one more time. I'm going to cheat a little driver. I'm going to do a little bit of left foot braking here too to try to give me more speed off the line. Oh man, I didn't back up enough. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's back up a little bit. Okay, here we go. Come on, Bronco Raptor, fully locked. A little bit of power, straight up those rocks, Nice, okay. It definitely helped. It definitely made a difference, because you have to imagine when those tires were slipping before, one tire was slipping a little bit more aggressively than the other tire was. That led to more of that front end swing and more of that loss of traction. So yeah, I wasn't fair to the Bronco, but now I have been. When it's fully locked up, It is that much more capable, and this is one of those rare situations when a front locker can make a big difference. It's one of those pieces of equipment I don't feel like you often need, but when you do need it, yeah, you saw it there. It really can add confidence and make sure you can get over things that you might not have been able to get over before. Now I got to show you another trick that the Bronco has, which is trail turn assist. So I'm trying to make a crazy tight turn here onto the left hook. We don't normally come from this direction, so we don't normally make this turn. But I've got it cranked. I'm in 4 low, but nothing's locked. And I won't quite make it. It's close. It is close, but I need an extra foot, maybe 1.5 feet to make this turn in this way. So that's where trail turn assist is going to make all the difference. Now what it does is it's going to drag the inside rear wheel on a corner and allow the vehicle to kind of pivot around that wheel. It's going to allow you to turn tighter. Now you only want to do this on loose surfaces, on dirt and on mud, and only when you're off-road. If you did this on the pavement, it would be very bad. But we're going to do it right now. Now the other thing with trail turn assist is it does kind of work better with a bit of momentum, because you want that momentum built up before that tire locks up, because it's also going to slow you down. Now you can do it at super slow speeds. It will sort of just kind of creep you around that corner, but it doesn't work as well. So I'm going to be somewhere in the middle. I'm also surrounded by trees that I don't want to hit, so I'm not going to go crazy fast. I'm going to try and just get just enough momentum, and let's see if trail turn assist is enough to get me around this corner. I'm going to back up just a little bit further, have a little more of a run, and let's see what we can do here. So coming forward, and turn. And there, that's it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And like I mentioned, it totally killed my momentum, but that initial little quick burp of power that just rotated me was enough, because it rotated me that extra kind of 2 feet that I needed. So again, this is a real world situation where trail turn assist is making a big difference. It's going to stop you from constantly doing 3-point turns, or if you do get stuck in a really tight area, it might actually help you get out of it. So it's another technology that might just seem like a party trick, but no, man, you can really use it to your advantage out here on some tight trails. All right, everybody, we're off of our trails now. We're on our way over to our high-speed trail. So it's natural that I should talk a little bit about how the Bronco Raptor handles on-road. And this is another vehicle where we have to talk about compromise, and the simple fact that there is less compromise than ever. This is a ridiculous off-roader with massive tires on it, tons of power. And yet when you get out here on the road, it handles well. It tracks nice and straight, cruises down the highway, and really just eats up the miles. It is loud in here. That's going to be the case for any vehicle where the roof comes off. And the tires are a little bit noisy, but actually really not that loud for, again, the size of them. So that's pretty impressive. So that's one thing you have to get used to. That's one compromise. If you want your roof off, it's going to be a noisy interior. Outside of that, almost no compromises here either. If I just do a little bit of this left to right, in normal mode, the suspension is actually quite tight. And what's even crazier, if I put it into sport mode, which I just did, and then do the same thing, yeah, man, it feels nice and tight and controlled, which, a vehicle, once again, this good off-road has no business feeling that way. So I appreciate that from Ford. And yes, if you want me to answer sort of the age-old question of Bronco versus Wrangler, when it comes to on-road driving, I'll take the Bronco every single time. I just feel like it tracks straight. This is a vehicle that I can say is easy to drive, which is not a way I would ever describe the Wrangler. So on-road drive is fine here in the Bronco Raptor. Now let me talk about this interior. So we're in this model with that black appearance package, and one thing that brings along is all this carbon fiber trim. So I have carbon fiber on my steering wheel. The grab handles here are carbon fiber. There's carbon fiber down there in the center, which is pretty nice. And then I have leather over suede seats, which are comfortable, supportive. The bolsters are good. I guess the one complaint I maybe have is because they're suede, they can get a little bit sweaty, quite frankly. Yeah, maybe the seats are a little bit too warm because of that suede on your backside, but outside of that, yeah, I can't find too much to complain about with this interior. I like this sort of blue jeans look up here on the dash, plus all of the stitching. So a really nice to look at interior, a functional interior. The rubber coated buttons up here on my dash are nice for all the off-road controls. A nice mix of touchscreen and physical controls. Your HVAC is still physical controls. I really don't have anything to complain about on the interior. However, I will now get to the price point. Just before we go flying across a field, let's lay out what this thing costs, because here in Canada, the Bronco Raptor you're looking at in this video is north of $130,000. So this thing is not affordable. I would dare say it's quite expensive, and that is most of our vehicles these days. So looking through that lens of, oh man, it's $130K, yeah, the interior is nice, but it better be nice for that price, and at least it is. Now, one other thing that caught my attention is looking at the Canadian build sheet. The black appearance package in Canada is listed as an $11,000 option. So sure, it looks cool. Sure, I like the carbon fiber, but I could live without it for 11 grand worth of savings. So that was kind of a wild number too. So no complaints, drives well, nice interior, but hot dang, is this thing ever expensive? And yeah, that's it for on-road, in this video at least. Let's get back out there into the field and see what this crazy expensive Bronco Raptor can do when I open it up on a rough dirt road. Let's do it. All right, everybody, now the real fun begins. We're gonna do some high-speed off-roading. So now I've put it over into Baja mode. That is gonna tailor everything for, yeah, high speed. The one thing I do like, I haven't mentioned yet, is you actually do get individual controls on your steering wheel for all the different elements of the Bronco Raptor. So I can control the exhaust sound, I can control the suspension dampers, I can do a My mode, which means you can go in and set all these things, and then at one button press, it'll put it in the exact mode that you have, you know, pre-configured. And then there's also a steering button as well. So if you just put it in a drive mode like Baja, it's gonna do all these things, but I just like that on the steering wheel I can individually adjust all of those different things. And yeah, let's feel the power. So 4-high Baja mode. Let's see how fast we can rip across this field. And foot to the floor. Ooh, bit of turbo lag off the line, but man, when it hits, it's good. Okay, that's 60 kilometers an hour. So that was coming through those big whoops at 60K. And for a second, I thought maybe I was gonna catch air, but no, this thing just stayed planted to the ground. And it's just unbelievable how soft that is, how well it eats up what's underneath you, but then also manages to keep in contact with the ground basically the whole time. That's crazy, man. And once again, the Bronco Raptor is making this look easy. We come out and do this with a lot of vehicles, and so many vehicles, it doesn't take much to start getting tires off the ground, to start getting those big, you know, bouncing moments, and that can feel really disconcerting. Here, I did that, and it makes me want to go through it again faster. It makes me want to hit it with more speed, and that is confidence inspiring. It sounds pretty good too. It's not a V8 rumble, but it's not bad. Okay, let me squeeze through this cow gate here, and then full power, 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 power. Yes, Bronco. That's 70 kilometers an hour. Come on. This vehicle should not be able to do that. Oh, folks, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Now, I'm happy to tell you, I love high-speed off-roading. If I have a choice between, you know, rock crawling or this sort of Baja-style high-speed, I'll take the high-speed every time. And it's interesting because, you know, you can't just say the word off-roading as a blanket term. Doing this is more like doing an extreme sport, where rock crawling, I always say, is more like doing a puzzle. It's very slow speed and methodical. This is instant reaction. You're reacting, you're reading the terrain, you're doing everything very quickly, and I just love that. And once again, so far, this Bronco feels so good while doing it. You know, huge kudos to the suspension. You also have to remember, we're turning huge 37-inch tires, so controlling those things is a lot. And then I haven't even really said this much yet, but the size, right? The size of this vehicle feels proper for doing high-speed stuff. You get into an F-150 Raptor R, let's say, that thing is also incredible, also very good at high-speed off-roading, but it feels massive. You're just constantly reminded by how big that vehicle is. No, this is the right size, the right width. Feels much more akin to the Ranger Raptor than it does to that full-size F-150 Raptor. And I just gotta keep going here, guys, because it's so good. This time, I'll try and take a bit of a different line, see if I can hit things a bit differently. I should say the steering has firmed up in my hands nice too. And coming through here. I actually hit 80K there, 80 kilometers an hour coming through a rough farmer's field. And this could have been the whole video here, because I can do this for the next hour straight, and I'm going to be smiling every single time. And hopefully that is enough to show you guys how good this thing is high speed, and just how much damn fun it is. Because yeah, this is the most fun I've had with a high-speed off-roader in a while. So kudos to the Bronco Raptor team for building a pretty unbelievable off-road SUV. Now granted, it does come at a kind of unbelievable price point, but let's forget about the money for just a second. Let's just pretend we live in a world where that doesn't matter, because just doing this, it's gonna make you smile every time, and we're gonna do it one more time. Here, I'll shut up, just listen to the sounds of the Raptor. Okay, I shut up for as long as I could. I had to at least laugh a little bit, because this thing is absolutely giggle-inducing. Hell yeah, Raptor. Hell yeah. Well, folks, we're coming to the end of this one, and as you can see, I am still smiling, because this Bronco Raptor is absolutely ridiculous off-road. And sure, the price is going to be a barrier of entry for a lot of people, but if you can afford it, you will not be disappointed. So yeah, everybody, that's it for this one. Now please go below, let me know what you think of the Braptor. What a missed opportunity. I didn't call it the Braptor once in this video till now, but yes, this is the Braptor. So go down below, let me know what you think about it. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King and see what we are testing next. See ya.